Hello, hello everyone. Today our presentation is on Module 1, Course 1, titled Developing Entrepreneurship stroke Intrapreneurship. As you can see, my name is Muaz Hassan Muazi. I am to facilitate this course, this module particularly. Yeah. So basically, this module, as some of us are aware, and I'm sure some of us are not aware, the entrepreneurship concept, program was introduced into Nigerian university curriculum in order to educate our undergraduates, and not just to educate them on entrepreneurship, but to expose them into entrepreneurship and to see whether it will help them to develop the mindset to create their own businesses, or develop the mindset rather to create ventures that could solve societal problems. So entrepreneurs are known for solving problems in our society, and perhaps one of the reasons why the federal government introduced the program into Nigerian universities and even all Nigerian tertiary institutions, colleges of education, polytechnics. In some states, they've even started at secondary level. So I'm to take you through this model. And entrepreneurship, like I said in the introduction, in this module, we understand what entrepreneurship is all about, who is an entrepreneur, what models of entrepreneurship, and then we talk about intrapreneurship, and we talk about corporate entrepreneurship. So basically, this module introduces you to the concept of entrepreneurship. If you are hearing it for the first time, we're going to see what it means, and we're going to see all the concepts and what they mean. So you should put it at the back of your mind that you're here to learn something that is going to take you all to perhaps change your life of developing a venture, either for business or for social purpose, in order to solve societal problems. And in the long end, we are hoping that it will expose students to start thinking of self-reliance. How can I create an enterprise or business that I can be on my own, considering the non-availability of jobs for everyone? Yeah. But some people, no matter what you do or what you said, we cannot start business. So this is what we expect to cover throughout this model: concept of entrepreneurship, theories of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship as venture creation, and concept of corporate entrepreneurship. So we talk about the concept, what it means, what it is, and the second one is the theories of entrepreneurship. The third one is entrepreneurship and venture, whether entrepreneurship means that one must create a venture or not. Yeah. But then we'll talk about concept of corporate entrepreneurship. What is it all about? So we understand the difference between the two with some example for us to understand what it means and what the difference is. Definition debug, because there are a lot of arguments. So this is the issue on the definition, because there are a lot of arguments that some people are saying entrepreneurship is about business, some people are saying is solving problem. There are a lot of arguments on the term of what entrepreneurship stands for. So the term entrepreneurship is viewed differently by scholars, policy makers, and researchers. The term generates a variety of connotations and remains somewhat elusive, even to some a mythical phenomenon. It is still not concluded as to which definition to be accepted, because there are a lot of arguments as to what entrepreneurship is. Some people are looking at it from solving social problems, while they are specifically looking at it from starting a business. But on the general note, majority is saying that entrepreneurship is about changing attitude, innovation, creativity, creating value, solving societal problem, and this is one of the accepted one, because anyway we're going to see as we move further. So it is still not concluded as to which definition to be accepted. Yeah, but some of the features in this class we consider some of the features of entrepreneurship, and we feel, of course, it could be considered based on some of the features. And what are the features? One, innovation. Two, creativity. Three, bringing bringing value, and for solving societal problem, either for money or for reward. So in kind means waiting to get the reward in heaven, or getting popularity and the rest of it. Yeah. So process dimension, we're taking dimensions by dimension. So dimensions of entrepreneurship. One, process dimension. According to this dimension, entrepreneurship is a process of creating something new of value by devoting necessary time and effort, assuming the accompanying financial, psyche, and social risk, and receiving the resulting rewards of monetary and personal satisfaction and independence. I'll take it again. Entrepreneurship is the process of creating something new of value by devoting the necessary time and effort, assuming the accompanying financial, psyche, and social risk, and receiving the resulting reward of monetary, in forms of monetary or personal satisfaction and independence. What it means is that is a process of doing something new that has value, assuming you develop a solution to a problem. For example, in this our society, we have a lot of malaria, and now you decided to say, okay, I want to invent, say, vaccination for malaria. So by inventing that vaccination for malaria, what did you do? You introduced the vaccination, it solved that social problem, and what is your reward? Of course, you sell it to people, and when people buy the vaccine, what do you get? You get the monetary reward coming back to you. Or you might decide to, after some years after the vaccination, collecting money, and over time you might decide to say, okay, this vaccination is now free, and then through that you drive personal satisfaction. What I mean is, you make the monetary gain, and you drive personal satisfaction as well. It's a typical example. Still under this dimension, we have entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is seen as any novel activity which create organizational change and economic value. I'll take it again. Entrepreneurship is seen as any novel activity which creates organizational change and economic value. It's saying that any activity which create organizational value, novel activity. Novel is saying any unique, anything new. So creating something new that creates organizational change and bringing economic value, and then is entrepreneurship. It is considered again as the process by which individuals, either on their own or inside firms, pursue opportunities. So entrepreneurship is not only, according to this view, it's a process by which individuals, either on their own or inside firms, pursue opportunity. So chasing opportunity is again under another feature of entrepreneurship. You have to exploit an opportunity. For example, at this class or this session, after the presentation, somebody could decide to develop this video or combine all the modules into a video, and to start selling this videos, one video of all the lectures from module 1 to 9, and that's an opportunity somebody explore. So that act of combining all the slides into one video for somebody to play and listen is exploring opportunity, and that's entrepreneurship. It's a typical example of entrepreneurship. So again, they said without regard to the resources they currently control. So for example, Bayero University registration process. I could remember when we were students, you have to queue, collect a teller, go to the bank and pay. When you pay, return the teller to the cashier. He presents the receipt to you. You take the receipt, you go to departments, they give you CRF, you fill. You return the CRF to your level coordinator, and you go all across the department for them to sign that you've taken this course, or borrows, you're offering this course this semester. The course facilitator has to sign on all the CRF. So if you are subsidizing 3 courses from 3 different departments, it means you have to go one by one to be endorsed, and then before you continue registration. But today, what happened? Your registration is done on your palm, your tablet, or your phone. You can do all this registration, register all the courses, print it, and just what you do with your level coordinator is just to submit. What about hotel or flight bookings? These are new things, innovation. They change the entire process. Now you can book online, and when you go to enter the plane, you just press send. At some point, in some countries, you just scan your phone. You scan the ticket on the screen of a computer, and then it will check you in. So bank today, we've seen changes in the banking process where people deposit money online, and the e-money, mobile money, you do transfer. You don't have to go to bank. I cannot remember going to the bank with my checkbook or cash book to withdraw money or deposit money. So today banks, you go to deposit with your ATM cards. You deposit. There are machines where you can deposit your money. The machine that's given, and there's a machine that dispenses, and there's a machine that receives money. What about withdrawals? People today, before now, people have to go to queue in one bank. You cannot go to different branch to do the same transaction. Whatever transaction, you have to go back to your branch. But today, all these are over, courtesy of entrepreneurship. So this entire process is entrepreneurship. So the second dimension, looking at behavior dimension. So entrepreneurship under this dimension is the characteristics of seeking opportunities, taking risks beyond security, and having the tenacity to push an idea through to reality. So it's saying that entrepreneurship is the behavior of an individual who seeks opportunity, bearing all the risks, beyond security, and having the tenacity to push an idea through to reality. So you see an opportunity, now you pursue it, and that mindset, that act by an individual who seek opportunity, looking for them everywhere. When he realizes that he take the risk to put his money or put his effort to start a venture, and then having the energy and the enthusiasm to push an idea through to reality is entrepreneurship. Your ability to withstand, to initiate, to develop, and to produce a product or service is entrepreneurship. That behavior, they consider it as entrepreneurship. Under it, initiative taking and acceptance of risks or failure is a behavior of individual. There are a lot of people who don't want to go to Lagos through the aeroplane because they are afraid. And some are afraid not to go to Lagos by the road because of kidnapping, accident, and all of it. So this type of people, they are risk averse, and they wouldn't want to venture going to Lagos through the road. Again, under this dimension, it says that entrepreneurship is the inspiration of an idea, the struggle of men and women against long odds, and the satisfaction that comes from succeeding on one's own business. It's entrepreneurship. I'll take it again. Entrepreneurship is the inspiration of an idea, the struggle of men and women against long odds, and the satisfaction that comes from succeeding on one's own business. It's entrepreneurship. That inspiration and that energy to struggle Today, no making. Tomorrow you make money. Tomorrow you making, and tomorrow you make it. Against all long odds, against all the tradition, against the traditional norm that things could not be done, and then the satisfaction that comes from succeeding, of course, is entrepreneurship. They said, of course, whatever and you do, and after doing it and you become satisfied, especially in business and successful despite all odds, is entrepreneurship. One example is Dangote. Dangote started a long time ago, and he's making it now because of the endurance, because of his attitude to pursue, to struggle, and when he started out of his comfort zone, because he stayed in Lagos. As a young man, he's from Kano, but then he started in Lagos, and that means, somebody moving out of his comfort zone against all odds. The normal tradition, people stay in their locality to do businesses. He started somewhere else, and then and he's making it. What about Mina Restaurant? She started Mina Restaurant, Mina Event Center, and the rest. Donald Trump, he started business person, and until he became the U.S. president. And his business are succeeding, and that's it. Typical example. So entrepreneurship is a way of thinking, reasoning, and acting that is opportunity-based, holistic in approach, and leadership balanced. What do we mean by this? So entrepreneurship is a way of thinking, reasoning, the way you think, and acting that is opportunity-based. There are people who are always looking for basically opportunity to explore. So that acting, or thinking, and reasoning acting is opportunity based. Wherever they see opportunity, they want to try, they want to explore. Sometimes they knock the door of opportunity, then when it opens, then they grab it. So holistic in approach that looks beyond the margin, the visible margin for common people to see things, and then leadership balance. So entrepreneurship is the introduction of new combinations, product, process, market, supply, or new organizations. So we look at the third dimension, which has to do with the outcome. So it focuses, under this dimension, it focuses on the result of process or behavior. So outcomes are usually understood in terms of new products and services, innovation, new ventures, or the creation of value for society. So under this dimension, entrepreneurship results in the creation, enhancement, realization, and renewal of value, not just for the owners, but for the participants and stakeholders. What do we mean by participant? So not only for the owner, but for the customers, for the society, and even for the government to get employment for the citizens in the country. So entrepreneurship is about what do you produce, the realization, the creation of company, the creation of product, the creation of businesses or ventures, social ventures, NGOs, and the rest of them. Realization and renewal of value. Things that have been there before, and updating and integrating it into the model system. Not just for the owners, but for the participants. Participants, the customers, the employees, the company, the competitors, the entire society at large. Yeah. So the dynamic force that facilitates the creation of incremental wealth, it is the dynamic force that facilitates the creation of incremental wealth. So entrepreneurship is the dynamic force that facilitates the creation of incremental wealth in an organization. For example, we have Albarka restaurant in the old campus before. We have Yahuza Suya, and now Habibi Yogurt is everywhere. We have premier clinics. All this are outcome of somebody's entrepreneurial thinking. So this dimension, they focus more on what were you able to bring to the table, what were you able to produce, what are you able to take to the market. And there is, in the example, you've seen Mina or BJ Beauty Makers, and you see S Safari Salon, etc. We have Watson's Bread, JK Carpets. All these are example of outcome of somebody's thinking. That look at opportunity, and now he produces something out of it. Yeah. So the key features of entrepreneurship dimensions This are the dimensions we discussed earlier: the process, the behavior, and the outcome. So when you look at by the right side, and then we said all these are combination of all these outcome features. The people engage in entrepreneurship. It talks about the individual now, the behavior of this individual. What about the entrepreneurial behavior displayed? The people themselves, sorry, the first one. And the second one talks about the behavior displayed, your ability to see opportunity, exploit it, take the risk. The creation and establishment of organizations is considering the outcome. What about opportunity identified and exploited? It's talking about the process. What about innovation, whether incremental, radical, and or transformative? So opportunity identification, assuming risks at personal, organizational, and even societal levels, adding value to the entrepreneur and society. All these are some of the features of all this discussion, the dimension we had earlier. Entrepreneurship. One, we have the economic entrepreneurship. The economic entrepreneurship, from the name, this is an entrepreneurship that has to do with the creation of an enterprise with the aim of making financial gains. And financial gains, it means profit. So what do we mean by this? So economic entrepreneurs are those people who venture into business and making money. And one of their objectives is to make profit, and which is a financial gain, is economic entrepreneurs. What about the second one? Social entrepreneurship. So social entrepreneurship, it is a kind of entrepreneurship that creates value in solving societal problems for self-satisfaction and not necessarily making profit. For example, NGOs. So when you are asked to differentiate the two, one will be able to know that economic entrepreneurship is about creating a venture or enterprise or business or solutions to people and offer them that solutions, and they give you money in return for that offering, either a product or a service, with the aim of making profit. Economic entrepreneurship. So it's basically just like the normal business we do. Any business you do, is to make profit. What about the social entrepreneur? It's that offering that you're waiting for the reward in heaven, or you want your reward. Your expectation is that when you offer this service or product or new value or new solution to society, people, you become popular, you gain political advantage, you be known in the society, and some people will choose not to be popular, but instead they will want to get the reward in heaven. So that is social entrepreneurship. In the course of this course, you're going to come across social entrepreneurship. There's a model particularly on it. So it was elaborated and discussed in thorough so that one will understand what this concept is all about. Yeah. So major characteristics of an entrepreneur. One, risk taking. So an entrepreneur taking calculated risks without fear of failure. So what is risk? So risk is the possibility of making profit or not making profit. I wouldn't want to go deeper into risk, what risk is all about. But we're saying an entrepreneur takes risks, taking calculated risks without fear of failure. Those people, an entrepreneur is that individual who venture into business, into any activity, with a mindset that with a hope that is going to make it. But sometimes there could be failure, but he is not afraid of that failure. So he is not afraid of that failure. So that fear, he was able to conquer that fear. So an entrepreneur is that person who conquered that fear of failure and then forge ahead to pursue his interest or idea or business or social venture through reality without being afraid of fear of failure. So entrepreneurs are very creative. They create. So creativity and innovation is a typical characteristic of entrepreneurs. They always initiate something new and continue to improve existing idea, product, or process. When you look at Apple, for example, Steve Jobs was able to develop a product that is unique and is still outstanding. Even though that he is late, he's normal, he died, this company is still making it. He's made it to places. We've seen entrepreneurs in Nigeria, so many, who solve societal problems, who continuously innovating their process. We've seen Rufida Yogurt around us. They are creating companies. They came from nowhere and they are everywhere now. We've seen Habib Yogurt. It's just the ordinary woman business, Fura the Nono local woman. And now they reinvent it and they introduce blender into the making of Fura the Nono. And that's how, entrepreneurs are. Creativity. They're very creative. They are highly innovative. So the third one is entrepreneurs have the courage. They have that courage to withstand all pressure. And for you to be an entrepreneur, you have to withstand pressure and be courageous to forge ahead. No matter what you want to succeed in this life, you're going to face challenges. But then your ability to withstand, there's this saying that your ability to rise after failing, and that's what makes you an entrepreneur. So boldness and hope to succeed. So that courage, that tenacity, that enthusiasm is the one that will push you to do things. So entrepreneurs are known for that, courageous. Whatever you want to start, you started well and you continue. It might fail today, tomorrow it can succeed. Yes, with the hope that it will succeed. So endurance, they endure, persevere, and have the tenacity to push things to the end. Endurance is saying that no matter how it is, some people will starve themselves. And there's this saying that's saying a successful entrepreneur is that person who is able to endure over time. You start, a very typical example is an Igbo man. Sorry, I'm using Igbo man because it's a real example of entrepreneur. A typical Igbo man will go to village where there is none of his people speaking the same language. Sometimes the religion, no church in the village. He stays, he prays in his shop. He stays in his shop, he cook food in his shop. And the bench of the shop, that's where he sleeps. So the shop becomes his house, his hospital, his home, his church, everything, in order to achieve something that he has in mind. And before you know it, before the next year, the guy is doing well. Before you know it, the shop is expanding. And that's a typical example of endurance. So an Igbo man, before you know it, he has biggest shop in the town. He has friends. He becomes somebody, and before you know it, he brought somebody. He's training somebody. Endurance. So endurance is very, very important for entrepreneurship. Yeah. So this concept of entrepreneur. So entrepreneur, he is a person who displayed the act of creativity and innovation in carrying out business undertakings in order to win in a marketplace. And he is not under any employment. What about intrapreneur? I know it's a new word, and therefore a lot of people have some confusion. But today, after today, you're going to understand what it means. So on the other hand, an entrepreneur is that person under salaried employment that displayed creativity and innovation voluntarily in the process of carrying out his job. So assuming you are an employee of an organization, and out of your curiosity to solve problem, you initiated a new process in the process of delivering your job that was not defined in your appointment letter. For example, in a bank now, in a school where, for example, you are a student or you are a lecturer, every month you be paid salary. So out of your curiosity to make the lecturing better, and now you introduce you come with a generator. For example, in the case of countries where there's no electricity, and that lecturer decided to buy a small generator to power the class, so that fun and to illuminate the class. And again, he comes with his personal projector instead of using the whiteboard marker to be used in writing. And now he introduced electricity, small generator, and projector where he'll be depicting all the slides, the lecture, everything on it. So that singular art make that lecturer, he becomes an intrapreneur. So an entrepreneur is that individual who is under somebody's job or salary or employment, and then decided to improve the process of his work. He is an entrepreneur. So basically the difference between the two is The entrepreneur is independent and he's doing it to make money, while the entrepreneur is doing it in order to improve, which is creating new value, knowing that his salary will not be increased simply because of that creation, and therefore just doing it to improve and make the job better. So they call him entrepreneur. So I believe that if anybody asks you, or if you come across these two words, you'll be able to differentiate them. Sorry. So the functional perspective focus on with the individual interaction with this environment. They're saying, okay, entrepreneurs could be entrepreneurs when the environment warrant for that. So there are people who grew up in Lagos and Kano or Aba. They have this environmental favor. So that personalized the argument that people becomes entrepreneurs simply because of their interaction with the environment where they are staying, and that's why somehow you look at it. Some people in Kano, they naturally become business people simply because the environment accommodate, tolerate, initiate, and allow those things to happen. Well, people from Lagos look at it this way. People from Aba, they're entrepreneurial because of the environment. So his ability to identify problem and proper solution to his societal problem. All these are environmentally driven, and that's the functional perspective theory of entrepreneurship as venture creation. So you don't have to, the argument is saying that does entrepreneurship always involve new venture creation? It's a question. So it's like for you to answer, but then we'll help ourselves to answer one. So you don't have to start a business to be entrepreneurial, because it is not only an economic function but a social process that creates value for many different people in a wide variety of contexts. So entrepreneurship, it mustn't necessarily be a business. It could be any activity, anything that brings solution of value from many different people in a wide variety of contexts. It could be a school, for example, your classmates don't know how to pass, say, any course that has calculation, and now you decided to organize an extra moral class. You are an entrepreneur. You are a social entrepreneur because you are bringing solution. You are enabling them to pass this course. So that singular act is entrepreneurship. You don't have a company, yet you solve problem, and that says you are an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is the exercise of alertness, creativity, judgment, and the will to bring about a preferred outcome. So we're saying is the exercise of alertness, your ability to identify this problem, ability to identify opportunity, your ability to now convert this problem or create a way or means of solving that problem. Judgment, and trying to measure whether it fits, whether people will like it or not, and then the will to bring about a preferred outcome. The preferred outcome is the solution and the value, and so that society will be over with that problem. And that entrepreneurship is saying. So people could bring new ideas. A governor can decide to build bridges in towns simply because all the previous governors have not built one. It's entrepreneurship to bring something new that others have not done before. It's entrepreneurship. So it mustn't necessarily be a business. It mustn't be an NGO. For anything, in one of the lectures, we're saying that a married woman might decide to in the delicacy of the meal she's cooking, she might decide to reinvent it and put something new into it. Or the sitting arrangement in her parlor, she might decide to rearrange it so that the place will look new. All this activity, all this act are entrepreneurial. So entrepreneurship is seen as a mindset for bringing about sustainable change. It's basically about bringing something new, of value, not negative, mark you. It has to be something positive. Yeah. If you could remember, that's the fourth item there, which is the last item in this class. The concept of corporate entrepreneurship is, for example, a business entity engaging in an entrepreneurial activities. Engaging in entrepreneurial activities. What are those activities or action? It has to do with creativity, innovation, identifying opportunity, pursuing it, and the rest of it. So for example, a company, say company X, right? And now company X is into producing, say, cars. And now company A is start thinking that, okay, in the production of this car, we can introduce robot, and those robot they're going to help us to achieve, production efficiency, where they produce with less cost, and less cost means more profit. That innovation, that introducing that robot, they call it corporate entrepreneurship. So creating another business from an existing organization. For example, company that is manufacturing cars, for example, might decide to start, producing bicycle or motorcycle as a different company. So that singular act of producing motorcycle or bicycle is corporate entrepreneurship. Or for example, a company enhancing existing product or services. Enhancing in the sense that they add new value to it, new value to the existing products, and that is why there are companies, like example, phone companies, Series 1, Series 2, iPhone 1, 113, Samsung Galaxy 1 to 20 something, Techno, blah blah, and the rest of it. All these are example of corporate entrepreneurship. So, or introducing new product services into existing product line. For example, Indomie, for example, or any noodle company, Indomie Hungry Man, Indomie chicken flavor, Indomie fish flavor, Indomie, so many Indomie. So introducing new product lines along the chain of the same production. So for example, a typical example in Nigeria is a Silverbird company. Silverbird create the Rhythm FM. So they are a TV, Silverbird, the cinema group with TV, and now they have FM. So what about Dangote Group? Dangote started into food consumer goods like flour, milk, sugar, and the rest of it. And now Dangote has ventured into cement, and now is going into refinery. So that's corporate entrepreneurship. What about Zenith Bank? Zenith Bank, it's a bank, and now they have Zenith Insurance. It's a typical example of corporate entrepreneurship. What about Coca-Cola to produce ever bottled water? So that singular act of producing ever bottled water is what we call corporate entrepreneurship. What about Pop Cola? Now they are producing pop water. Corporate entrepreneurship. What about IRS Airline? They produce IRS pasta and they have IRS rice. So this is a typical example of corporate entrepreneurship. So with this, I feel we're coming to the end of this class, and I believe that some of the discussion we had clarify all the issues on the concept of entrepreneurship, concept of corporate entrepreneurship, and individual entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, and economic entrepreneurship. And all of this issue, and the center point of this model is to expose you. And what we mean by exposing you is to let you understand that entrepreneurship is about bringing something new that solves societal problem, either to make money or to get personal satisfaction. Satisfaction in the sense that you wait for a reward in heaven, or get popularity, or take political advantage. But then generally it's about solving societal problem, either to make for money making or for goodness sake. Entrepreneurship. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much. I remain Muaz Hassan Muaz, facilitator of this model. Thank you for your time.